evening and welcome to the news. I am Willie Buku. Coming up in this edition, High Court Judge Justice Alusain Sise sentences Sylvester Sampson to 15 years in prison. Sierra Leone joins other countries in Africa to observe Amnesty Month. And the private legal practitioner calls for urgent review of the Anti-Money Laundering and Terrorism Financing Act. All the stories and more lined up in tonight's edition of the news. High Court Judge Justice Alusain Sise has sentenced Sylvester Sampson to 15 years in prison after pleading guilty of stabbing one Fodi Kagbo with a knife with intent to murder him. The accused Sylvester Sampson pleaded guilty to the 3-count charges ranging from wounding with intent to murder and to wounding with intent contrary to law and begged for forgiveness. Aminash Nyande Brahma is our court correspondent.
High Court Judge Justice Alusain Sise sentenced Sylvester Sampson to 15 years in prison after pleading guilty of stabbing one Fodi Kagbo with a knife with intent to murder him. The accused, Sylvester Sampson, pleaded guilty to the 3-count charge from wounding with intent to murder to wounding with intent contrary to law and begged for mercy. Evidence adduced in court stated that Sylvester Sampson, on the 10th of December 2016, in Freetown wounded Fodi Kagbo with the intent to murder and cause him grievous bodily harm, and also wounded Safili with intent to cause bodily harm. State Prosecuting Counsel Ahmed James Maxwell Bokari submitted the fact as charged, and the accused pleaded guilty on the 3-count charges, noting that the penalty for wounding with intent to murder is life imprisonment. He noted that he relied on the evidences as charged and urged the judge to sentence the accused accordingly, adding that he was arrested on the 25th of September 2017. Defense counsel lawyer Joel Tijandin Tarawali, during his plea of mitigation on behalf of the accused, stated that the accused wasted no time and pleaded guilty, which has demonstrated his regrets for his action, and pleaded with the judge to temper justice with mercy. In his ruling, Justice Alusain Sise affirmed that the accused has a heart of stone by stabbing the complainant with a knife with the intention of killing, which he frowns at, and cautioned him to be cautious and desist from such acts. Justice Alusain Sise convicted and sentenced the accused Sylvester Sampson on the 3-count charge to 5 years on each count charges, noting that his sentences must be served concurrently, with time spent at the correctional center must be considered. In another development, Magistrate Santigi Bangura has granted the application made by one of the defense counsel in the alleged murder of Albert Medicine Bio. Lawyer representing the first accused, Ms. Bangura, has applied for the plea statements of the 6 Frabe College students, accused persons, to be made available to the defense. In response, the State's Prosecuting Counsel, Ahmed James Maxwell Bokari, objected to the defense application, noting that the prosecution intends to take a line of action in the alleged murder matter. During his ruling, Magistrate Santigi Bangura of Magistrate Court No. 1 affirmed that in the interest of justice and fair trial, he granted the application to the defense counsel. The accused persons, Francis Mafinda, Dennis Holland, Lawrence Lahai Amara, Muke Fo, Abbas Sise, and David Ricot Olatunde Williams, who are students of Frabe College and members of Climax Club, made their second appearances on 2-count charges of conspiracy and murder contrary to law. It was stated that the accused persons on diverse dates between the 6th and the 14th of July 2018 conspired with other unknown persons to commit a felony and allegedly murdered Albert Madison Bio by torture and beaten to death. Magistrate Santigi Bangura remanded the accused persons and adjourned the matter to the 1st of October 2018.
Sierra Leone is joining other countries in Africa to observe the Amnesty Month. Amnesty Month is set aside to give individuals who are in possession of illegal weapons the opportunity to voluntarily surrender them without fear of arrest or prosecution. The African Union in 2017 declared September as Amnesty Month. To observe the month, the Sierra Leone Action Network on Small Arms and the Sierra Leone National Commission on Small Arms engaged blacksmiths on alternative sources of livelihood for them to avoid arms production. Doreen Barry reports.
Declared the month of September as Amnesty Month. This is to give persons illegally possessing weapons to surrender them without fear of arrest or prosecution. This is to achieve the African Union 2020 vision of ending armed conflict on the continent. It is against this background that the Sierra Leone Network on Small Arms conducted a survey which has shown that the number of blacksmiths in the country is increasing. According to their findings, the country at present has over 4,000 blacksmiths and that 200 of them are producing guns that are normally used by hunters but can also harm and even kill humans. Coordinator, Sierra Leone Actions Network on Small Arms, Adenike Cole, said this year's month of amnesty focuses on identifying alternative livelihoods for blacksmiths. She said that they are working with the Small Arms Commission in achieving the African Vision 2020, which is to ensure all arms conflicts in Africa are ended. She encouraged blacksmiths who want to continue with their trade to obtain license from the Sierra Leone National Commission on Small Arms. Program Officer, National Small Arms Commission Winfred Samuel Taylor spoke about punitive measures that would be taken against people who will be caught illegally proposing small arms and light weapons. Goldsmith welcomed the idea of the Sierra Leone Action Network on Small Arms for the initiative to providing alternative livelihoods for them.
Well, a private legal practitioner who works at the Law Reform Commission has called for an urgent review of the Anti-Money Laundering and Terrorism Financing Act. Andrew Johnson's call came few days after a foreign business national was arrested at the Freetown International Airport for allegedly possessing foreign currencies which exceeded 30 million leones, the amount that is allowed to be traveled with as stipulated in the Anti-Money Laundering and Terrorism Financing Act. He made the statement during our sister program, The Podium.
National community and national bodies that work towards combating money laundering and terrorist financing. So we're a member of GAIBA, which is the Regional West African organization, and also since we are part of the IMF, and the IMF has this financial task force that deals with money laundering facts, so by virtue of that, in 2012, the lawmakers drafted the Anti-Money Laundering and Combating of Terrorist Financing Act, and this act, amongst other things, prescribes that before you travel out of Sierra Leone, the act does not say you cannot travel out of Sierra Leone with so amount. It says you have to declare. The amount in question is 30 million. At the time when it was drafted, 30 million was there about 10,000 United States dollars, because that is the international benchmark. But now we've seen that by virtue of the fact that currency has fallen in terms of the value to the dollar, you will find out that $10,000 is just about 30 million is just about $4,000. So this is something that I think the public needs to know. Well, it would have been in breach of the law, because the law is very clear. That's why these laws need to be reviewed constantly, predicated on the value of our loans.
He is Andrew Johnson, a private legal practitioner. Well, the All Political Parties Association, APPA, has signed and endorsed its first ever constitution document since its establishment at a meeting held at Pademba Road in Freetown. The constitution, according to members of the association, will permit them to lawfully take decisions that is in the best interests of the members. Mariam Asuma reports.
Political parties are an integral part of public sector institutions, and their invaluable contributions are crucial in promoting democratic governance, which is the basis for economic and sustainable development of a state. In order to fulfill their responsibilities towards their respective political parties, the association has decided to develop a constitution that will guide them through their activities. Chairman and leader of the National Grand Coalition, who also doubles as chairman of the occasion, Dr. Dennis Bright, described the signing and adoption of the Constitution as the birth of the association. He recalled that for the past years, the association has been operating without any document, which he said was not good for the association, but that with this supported document, they will be able to work in the interest of the nation.
It does mean that the association today has been truly born, because although it's been operating for a while now, but it had not had a constitution, that would be guiding, its operations. And we thought it necessary for any proper association to have a constitution of our own, so that we are able to regulate our affairs as we should, as any association worth its name should. So today is a very historic day.
Mediation and Program Officer, Western Region of the BPRC, Olusegun David, thanked the All Political Parties Association for the Constitution. He said the signing shows that political tolerance is taking a different dimension.
Parties must be seen as institutions rather than coming just for the purpose of election. And I'm sure that this particular action that you've all taken will actually see turning points within the political arena.
Secretary General of the Association, Alhaji Ben Kamara, described the occasion as a very historic event. He emphasized on the urgent call for an election so that the association will have a new executive that will take them to another level. Meanwhile, 14 political parties were to sign the document, but 5 of them were absent. They pleaded with those that were not part of the signing of the document to do. SLBC News, Mariam Asuma reporting.
Men's Association for Gender Equality Sierra Leone has called on the government to amending the sexual offences law to include ways of dealing with teenagers engaged in sexual activities. They made the statement during a press conference where they were updating journalists on cases of sexual and gender-based violence cases. Francis Danema reports.
More women are publicly seen fighting for gender equality than men in Sierra Leone. Men's Association for Gender Equality Sierra Leone was formed to join women to campaign for gender equality and against sexual and gender-based violence in the country. Updating journalists, the Executive Director, Men's Association for Gender Equality, Tamba David McHugh, said in the last 3 months, there have been 12 cases of sexual and gender-based violence cases in their operational areas.
As to what happened if a 12-year-old boy commits such a crime, like keeping another young girl who is also another underage for sexual purposes and other things, depriving a girl from going to school or taking pre-professional skills and other training sector. So we have reviewed this and see, we believe it is very much necessary, as the manager and other speakers earlier have said, for us to give up to you people who are very much effective in passing communication through the media, electronics and print, for the public to be aware and also to bring it to the notice of our workers, the appropriate authority, the channels, so that we can all come think and start to think around the system and say, what do we do?
He said the silence of the Sexual Offences Act of 2012 on the issue of underage boys committing sexual offences is a major challenge, as they now have reports of boys harboring girls. The program manager, Men's Association for Gender Equality, Antonius Lamin Lansana, recommended that the government should think about the negative effects of boys harboring girls and review the Sexual Offences Act. He said they have formed community action groups in their operational areas in the eastern parts of Freetown and Bo, and train them on ways to prevent sexual and gender-based violence in their communities. 2 people who are members of the community action team in Freetown, Almami Bangura and Fatmata Bangura, said they were engaged in conflicts with their partners and community people, but have been transformed by Men's Association for Gender Equality. They said they are now engaged in community sensitization on the need to live at peace and prevent sexual offenses. SLBC News, Francis Ndanema reporting.
Search for Common Ground and its development partners have launched a project on women's empowerment. The one-year project, which is supported by Irish Aid, is aimed at building social cohesion at community level through women-led approaches. Doreen Barry reports.
After the last 2012 elections, more women were awarded symbols for parliamentary seats. The last parliament had more women when compared to this current parliament. It is because of this Search for Common Ground and its partners have launched such projects to find out what went wrong and how can lessons learned be acted upon for more women's participation at future elections. Efforts made by SLBC in getting the views of affected women were proven futile. The one-year project is designed to strengthen women's role in promoting local-level accountability. It will also increase citizens' access to information and awareness raising around social cohesion and governance processes. Deputy Minister of Social Welfare, Gender and Children's Affairs, Mohammed Haji Kella, said that the new direction prioritizes gender equality and women's empowerment. He said the project will empower marginalized women and young girls. He frowns at early marriage and sexual abuse against women, adding that gone are the days when women's rights were violated. Executive Director of Institute Governance Reforms, Andrew Lavalley, said that Sierra Leone's performance on Human Index has not been appealing due to the absence of women cohesions. He spoke about challenges faced by women, including limited access to justice and poverty. He said the project will create an opportunity for more women inclusiveness. Country Director of Search for Common Ground, Joseph Jimmy Sakatua, said that the project will be implemented in 5 districts: Kono, Potloko, Kambia, Kenema, and Tonkolili. He said that the project is to strengthen the role of women in promoting social cohesion, local level accountability, and inclusiveness decision-making process within the 5 implementing districts. The Irish ambassador to Sierra Leone, Catherine Campbell, spoke about the relevance of the project, which will help promote women's issues at community level. She said the project will promote accountability, gender and governance issues. It is expected to enhance public policy on women's participation.
Sierra Leone Bauxite has paid a total of 900 million loans as surface rent to landowners and affected property owners in Marampa and Mafoki chiefdoms, Potloko districts. The payment was done in accordance with the country's Mines and Minerals Act. Ibrahim Samura reports.
The payment is part of Sierra Leone Bauxite corporate social responsibility. This year's surface rent amounted to 900 million to the various sections affected by the operations of the company in the 2 chiefdoms of Marampa and Mafoki. Chief Executive Officer Sierra Leone Bauxite Samir Patel said the payment of the surface rent is a demonstration of their commitment in adherence to the Mines and Minerals Act. He assured them of more development in their chiefdoms. Mr. Patel called on their fullest cooperation. He told his audience that they are still on exploration, saying that they will soon commence full scale of operations. The Director of Community Affairs, National Minerals Agency Ibrahim Sati Kamara, said their presence to witness the payment of the surface rent is to ensure transparency of the process. Mr. Sati Kamara admonished the landowners to work closely with the company, noting that they should channel all their grievances to the agency. The lawyer for the landowners, Said Will, said he is satisfied with the process, saying that the company has increased the lease agreement from $4 to $7 per hectare after a series of negotiations. He told his client that the company has also agreed to review the agreement every 5 years. The payment was witnessed by the chairman, Potloko District Council, chiefdom authorities, the district's officer, civil society groups, and the Sierra Leone police. They assured of working closely with the various parties to ensure sanity.
Vice President Dr. Mohamed Julde Jallo has said that government will create a conducive environment for private sector investment. He was speaking to a group of Chinese investors who called on him at his Tower Hill office. Thomas Neal reports.
These Chinese investors are in the country to invest in Kin On Iron Project. Vice President Dr. Mohamed Jule Jallow welcomed them to the country, adding that Sierra Leone and China relationship has existed for far too long and have gone beyond traditional ties to investment opportunities. He said with the start of their operations, thousands of jobs will be created for Sierra Leoneans, whilst the economy will boom.
Objective is to ensure that the companies operate here, they do their business very well, so that they can increase the revenue for the government. The second objective is to create employment for our people. More importantly, the idea that they want to set up a steel industry is also a very excellent idea. We are ready to provide the environment for the investment to grow.
Kin O representative Gilbert Zhou expressed her interest and strong will to realize production of iron ore project, especially after further discussion with President Biu in China. The deputy mayor of municipal government of Andan, Mr. Gao, said he was happy about the solid foundation laid out by China Kin O during their past years and great potential for the investment in Sierra Leone for the mutual benefit of Sierra Leone and China. For News Hour in Freetown, Thomas Neal reporting.
You're watching News Hour on Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation Television. It's time for the latest in sports. We now join Esther Marie Samara. And for the latest updates sport, the first batch of training acrobats from Sierra Leone left China this month after studying acrobatic at the Wuchao Acrobatic Arts School. The acrobats were presented to the Ministry of Sport at the Ministry's conference with certificates presented to the student. Here is the report. Acrobatic is the performance of extraordinary human feats of balance, agility, and motor coordination. It can be found in many of the performing arts, martial arts, and other sports. A total of 10 acrobats from Sierra Leone took part in this year's acrobat training, and they can now perform amazing acrobatic feats such as juggling, hat, and controlling a rotating wheel, among others. And these were some of the performance. Miss Anna Williams, the initiator of the program, said this sport caters for less privileged children, especially those from single parental background, as the cause develops and gives them a sense of belonging to the wider society.
Looking at our nation, there are so many less privileged children who feel abandoned and don't know which direction to go in life. Introducing this type of sports will get them involved in things that will keep them busy, hence preventing them from involving in violence and drugs abuse. I then want to appeal to the government of Sierra Leone to support this project at time.
Ibrahim Yelenke, Minister of Sports, lauded the goodwill of Miss Anna Williams for creating the platform for these children. He further said that he was impressed with the acrobatic performance of the kids during their stay in China and encouraged them to continue and take it as a professional career.
I really want to say kudos to the young folks. We are really proud of you. But from what I saw, so amazing. So amazing. It's unbelievable. In fact, years back, when I see such images, I never thought in my life Sierra Leonean can perform like that. Yeah, I used to attribute it to black magic. But today now, they have, it has been proven that this is no black magic. This is something that has to do with talent. You practice, and when you practice, I think you deliver what you practice. Really so amazing. Of course, my government is committed. We'll continue to support acrobatic.
Octavia Belinda Camara, on behalf of her mate, thanked Anna Williams for giving them hopes and promised to be committed to the discipline. Certificates of merit and participation were presented to the acrobat. And the remains of referee Victor Mara will be laid to rest on Friday. That's all for sport tonight. Over to you, Wilmina.
Many thanks to Esther Marie Samura for giving us the updates on sports. Well, finally, we go to entertainment news. Lansana Sharif, aka Steady Bongo, is a household name in the entertainment industry and has released over 28 albums since he started his career. Later this year, he's planning to release another album, and that from that album, he has decided to release 2 new music videos. Our entertainment producer Mohamed King Milan Bangura engaged him and compiled this report.
Lansana Sharif, aka Steady Bongo, is a household name in the entertainment industry and needs less introduction. Lansana Sharif was born in Daru, Bambahu Chiefdom, Kailaon District, attended Easy Primary School, Daru, and later continued his secondary schooling at Ahmadiyya Muslim School in Freetown. The name Steady Bongo is widely known throughout the world, but one wants to know where he got the nickname from.
From school days. Okay. You know, when I was in Kenema at Islamic Secondary School. Okay. Yeah, I was one of the guys who always organized melodrama, concerts, you know. So through from that, I got the name from my friends, you know, because everything I did at that time is always slow but steady.
Steady Bongo has released over 28 albums in his career since his first album, Get Ready Before You Married, in 1991. And has received a lot of awards in recognition of his good work as a musician, especially his genre of music in promoting our culture. Years ago, he formed a musical band called the Cultural Heroes and has traveled to different parts of the world representing Sierra Leone in live musical festivals. He's been a musician his childhood dream.
To be honest with you, this was what I was thinking about. Even when I was in my elementary school, you know, I always speak to myself, so, oh my God, when will I be a musician? I want to become a musician.
Steady Bongo was inspired by a lot of Sierra Leone musicians like Madam Ami Kalon, the late Big Fire, Kenya Samai, Bonnie Mac, and John Blah. The latter he wrote a letter to when he was a kid in Daru, just to visit him in Freetown and become a musician.
If I just stay in Kailanta, I don't think I'll make it up. So I wrote a letter to John Blah, my brother. It was so funny.
Steady Bongo has the quality of releasing albums every year or two since he started his musical career. This year, he has decided to release his new album by December. But in that album, he has decided to release 2 musical videos, Nadi Awadis and Mama Blessing.
You want for corner me, you face them in a full market. Nadi Awadis, on a so you plan. Nadi Awadis.
Bongo said as a musician, he has helped sensitizing the youth through his music and has created employment for some in the musical band. On the side of politics, he said his country Sierra Leone comes first before tribe, region, or color. He urged the public to support the sitting government to push our beloved country forward and advised the government to take entertainment seriously. He also gives words of advice to his fans and young, talented musicians.
Let them keep the fire burning. If you don't make it today, don't lose hope. Support who is making it now. Your own day will come.
Well, now to end the news, the main points again. High Court Judge Justice Alusain Sise has sentenced Sylvester Sampson to 15 years in prison. Sierra Leone has joined other countries in Africa to observe Amnesty Month, and the private legal practitioner has called for an urgent review of the Anti-Money Laundering and Terrorism Financing Act. Well, that's all we have time for in tonight's edition of the news. Thanks for your company. I have been Willie Nabuku. Keep staying with us.